Hello and welcome to the video. Today we will be covering the very basics of making and applying stencils. We will do two examples today. One will be a complicated shape and one will be a simple stripe. First off, if you want to do a more complicated shape, it helps to actually make your stencil in an image manipulation program. In this case, I have made my arrow stencils using GIMP. Get the outline of your desired shape, which you can then resize using the image manipulation tools into something that will fit the space that you are trying to paint. Once you get it printed out, you can cut out the stencil with a hobby knife. I have printed on cardstock here, but I find that regular paper can also work for certain situations. It all depends on what you're trying to paint. The next thing you need will be painter's tape, specifically painter's tape that is low tack. I like to use tape of this width because it covers a lot of space with each application. This tape is also sometimes called washi tape. You can usually find them in craft stores. More specialized art stores also sell really low tack ones. Next up, using the tape, you then secure your stencil onto the space you want to paint. For this demonstration, I will completely cover the car, which is my usual method if I am going to airbrush the stencil. This is just for demonstration. If you're doing a hand application, it's not necessary to completely cover the car. Here I'm making the tape pull the stencil as taut and as flat as possible so that it won't lift up as I do the application. We will be doing this demonstration with craft store titanium white, and I actually think that craft store acrylics have a better consistency suited for this hand stenciling technique. I will be doing this stencil a little bit messy as I want it to look worn on the worn out car. We achieve this by stippling on the paint while the brush is still pretty loaded. The stencil itself will define the borders of our shape, and the volume of the paint we use will define the texture of the shape. Once happy with application, let it dry for about 15 minutes, and then you can start peeling off your tape. I did get a bit of splatter going through the tape where it rose up, but I am alright with how this looks. We will be doing some further weathering of this later to make it match the rest of the car. For this next step, we are going to stencil out a straight line, and we are going to try and get it sharp and clean. We do this by defining the line with the straight edges of the painter's tape. This works just like the paper stencil, but you are defining the borders of your shape with the tape itself. We are going to use the same titanium white craft paint for this step, but this time we aren't going to load as much on the brush. So we are using less paint to try and achieve a more even finish with the stippling. I'm going to let this footage run so you can see how I personally approach it. Once the paint dries, I start making a line within the white line. I do this by going in with some more tape and defining a more narrow line within the one we have just painted. I paint the second line using craft store medium yellow. I use the same technique and volume of paint as before. Once you are happy with the application, and then you wait another 15 minutes for it to dry, you can start peeling off your painter's tape. This application is much neater than the previous one, which can be good if you're going for a tidier look. We are, however, painting a grungy car, so we now move on to the chipping. This specific car is already set up to chip, so all we have to do is wet the stencils and then attack it with a toothpick. If you are not sure how to get to this chipping friendly state, I have made up a video to show you how. I will link it up top right now. And that is about the very basics of how to apply stencils. Using today's exact same masking methods, you can approach the painting step itself with an airbrush or with a rattle can instead of with the stippling technique. If you want super sharp stencil applications, this is definitely the way to go. if you are going for the grungy wasteland effect. However, I really do think the hand painting can get you some very interesting textures. And that is about us for this video. Hit that like and that subscribe if you enjoyed my stuff, and keep those eyes peeled because I do have more videos coming. Until next time.